Hey, what is up ladies and gentlemen, I'm Mario here once again. It's me, Mario here, and I'm from the likes of the Muxy Toys videos, and ladies and gentlemen, welcome back to more Let's Play of Kirby Mouse Attack / Kirby Squeak Squad for North American versions anyway, for the Nintendo DS. So last time we actually did tackle Buddy Forms of World 2, Buddy Forms of Nature Notch, and today for this episode folks is the fact that we're going to be moving on to World 3, which as far as I remember this correctly, this one actually calls it Cushy Clouds because, well, much like how it does in the forms of Grape Garden from Kirby's Adventure, and especially noticeable with, well, obviously, Nightmare in Dreamland, and all that shenanigans and all that stuff. But the thing is, though, is the fact that we might actually ended up take place in the forms of these different environments, which even then, that could be usually been said and done, because, you know, the actual world map's design. So, and just like the ones in the last video, I managed to able to actually change my different variation of Kirby's skin color. So that makes it a little bit more brighter greenish, but I don't know what specific color's name it was. Perhaps I wasn't paying too much attention to the forms of the collection room correctly. But anyways though, let's get started by the forms of Cushy Clouds. And yeah, we're going to be heading on to level 3-1. So yeah, as far as I've noticed, some of these treasures, they are very easy to obtain though, especially noticeable they're on plain sight. But when we get to like, you know, World 6 and the future worlds and onwards, then, well, as you expected, that the treasures themselves later on will get really challenging to obtain them. So even though that makes it a little bit obvious there. So, anyways though, let's go ahead and just go all the way down from here, just in case if we don't run into something. So, in fact, I'll need to get ourselves a lovely fresh meat. So, I don't know why I say fresh meat from the actual purposes of anything else. So anyways though, today was actually forms of the 20th of July in 2018, so we've literally got ourselves 12 more days to go until the forms of not just a new month, but also for the forms of the giant marathon we're going to be doing for Let's Plays department. Something is worth mentioning for the forms of, you know, the celebration for the release date for Mega Man 11 to be released on the Nintendo Switch and PlayStation 4, Xbox One, and especially noticeable for the PC as well. So that should be pretty interesting to say much for that, which still I'm really looking forward to Mega Man 11 to see how that turns out. Speaking of which though, that I've heard there are some other rumors about this, is the fact that they've recently revealed their next robot masters, but he forms of Mega Man 11, but he forms of Blast Man. So, very curious able to actually just to see how, what these robot masters all look like. So even then, as far as I've noticed something, we've already revealed, 3 of them at the moment. But even then, though, that we'll definitely find out more about that until we're able to actually just proceed for the next couple of days. In fact, we've literally got ourselves, like, almost about you know, 3 more months left until the actual final game of Mega Man 11 will be released. So, still excited for it, and I can't wait for that. So, let's transform into the ice ability, and then hopefully we can able to actually just bust through these enemies as much as possible, to able to actually not only freeze them, but also we can get ourselves the 3rd and final treasure chest, and let's get the heck out of here. So, speaking of Mega Man 11, we're actually going to go ahead and say this right now. After finishing really forms of the Mega Man Marathon for the next month or so, in fact, we might actually go ahead and do the Let's Play of Mega Man 11 until at some point at the very end of this year specifically, because even then, yeah, I might as well thought so anyway. So, here we got ourselves another copy ability scroll, and especially noticeable with the forms of the Jigsaw puzzle piece, and another Kirby spray paint. So, yeah, that's pretty cool. And I need to know what the actual color itself is going to be like. But again, because we're going to be using this setup, but in forms of this recording session from now on though, well, it wasn't until the extra videos that we might actually go ahead and just change the perspectives quite literally. So even though that may become to the goods though anyway though, so this level almost reminds me of the forms of somewhat of a combination of both Orange Ocean and especially noticeable with the forms of Olive Ocean from both Kirby Nightmare in Dreamland most likely and Kirby and the Amazing Mirror, because even then, Kirby Mouse Attack was usually been made by not just with Nintendo and HAL Laboratory, but also by the forms of you know, flagships. So even then though that, you know, Alright, so if you go in here, this is where we get ourselves the first treasure chest in this level here. So, yeah, compared to the likes of level 3-1, that usually retains 3 treasure chests, but then in this level only retains like 2 treasure chests. So, you know, nothing too surprised right there, but hey, at least we can able to cope with this though. Oh my god, we got ourselves the returning mini boss fight, and that's the forms of Foxy, if you remember her from, you know, Kirby and the Amazing Mirror. In fact, she's actually way easier this time around though, compared to how the ones in the, you know, the Kirby and the Amazing Mirror. And speaking of which, we got ourselves the technically a returning copy ability, but act out very differently this time around. As you can see, we've got ourselves a magic copy ability, which the only differences between the forms of the Amazing Mirror incarnation of the forms of magic compared to how it does it for now. How the fact of the matter is though, is the fact that you can actually do multitude of attacks, like the forms of doves coming out of the actual hat. You know, deck cards usually swiped up and then able to actually just go straight forward. And finally, by the forms of the actual Jack in a Hat kind of attack, which I will admit though is actually pretty remarkable, you know, card ability itself, because you can able to do loads of stuff with that specific attacks themselves. So I've a little bit of a tangent right there for this point, folks. But anyways, right off the bat though, we got ourselves the you know, the big treasure chest right there, so that hopefully we can snag it from the forms of the actual mouses themselves, or the squeaks in general. In fact, I just want to point things out right away for this point, folks, that I do apologize about the fact that I did not know the names at first with the forms of the actual Squeak Squad themselves. But even then, though, that the one you see right about now, his name was actually forms of Dark. Not to be confused as Doc Brown from Back to the Future, except, well, he uses a UFO contraption. So, anyways, though, we got ourselves a musical sheet here, and another one of those star seals. So, pretty awesome at the same time. Level 3-3, I believe this is a level that usually retains 3 treasure chests, so to speak, for that stuff. So let's go and switch over to Cutter right there, so just in case we can able to actually demolish every single enemies, including these blocks as well. So that way we can able to actually nuke some of them for almost an instant. So even then, that might be something worth mentioning for quite a while for that one point or another. But hey, at least we'll come to the goose though anyway though, so anyways though. Alright, so for the most part though, that so far so good when it comes to my performance of the forms of the actual, you know, this game in particular. So anyways, back into what I was saying, but it forms of the actual names of the actual Squeak Squad crew themselves. Well, obviously I've already mentioned one anyway, and that's the forms of Doc, and another one, but it forms of the blue Fato mouse right there, but it forms of his name was Stero. And finally, or in this case another one, which is forms of somewhat of a ninja type mouse, and that name was actually forms of Spinny. And finally, the leader of the group, which I do recognize at first, because even then, thanks to the forms of, you know, the new update of the forms of Kirby Star Allies has been just recently released, and oh wow, I've got my invincibility frames every time when I leave the room and able to actually move on to the next room on screen. Okay, I'll definitely take it. I'll take it as a bargain. Anyways though, and this is a good reason why we need to use Cutter in the first place, because we meet again with the Golden Waddle Dee in order to actually kill him quickly before he just managed to fall down to the pit, and then able to actually just go ahead and just, you know, grab the treasure itself. So, yeah, not too shabby right there, so, you know, you get the idea. Alright, so I believe coming up is going to be, I believe this room usually contains a treasure chest around here, because, since I've managed to be using my laser, so that way we can able to actually go ahead and, hopefully we can able to actually solve this problem. In fact, we actually, at this switch itself, so let's go ahead and fire the laser up, but you have to be very quick though, because, yeah, this thing closed off completely, like, super fast. So, making that quickly, and as soon as you obtain that, then we got ourselves Stero, the mouse. So, yeah, anyways though, back to what I was saying, but he informs of how the fact that with that, the leader of the group, of the Squeak Squad, his name was actually forms of Daruch, which even then, it's almost like a cockroach, or maybe something like that for that nature. I know it's a little bit of a weird name, but hey, at least it's something else though anyway though, so let's get this mouse out of the way, so just in case we can able to finish the main level itself. So far, most of those levels are really short though, compared to the likes of the open world filter it, unlike the forms of Kirby and the Amazing Mirror, so to speak. So anyways, we got ourselves the jigsaw puzzle piece, and I believe this piece right there is actually forms of the secret map of any sorts. And finally, we got ourselves another piece of the ghost medal. So, yeah, because I got confused in the last video, because even then, I don't really know what the actual item that we've got of one of those treasure chests that we've got through. But even then, it turns out it was actually the forms of the secret map pieces. So, because I did not pay attention to the actual visual cue or something like that. So, yeah, I must admit though, I feel a little bit too strict when it comes to remembering things. But apart from that, I can appreciate it with that stuff. So, jeez, I really cannot believe that we've almost nearly come towards the end of the forms of July already. Because I know for the fact that most of those days can go usually gone over for a really quickly amount of time. Because even then though, that can usually be something else though, let me tell you. But anyways though, let's go blast it up to the skies, and we get ourselves the first treasure chest here. So, not too shabby right there, because, you know, just like the ones in last time, we can just simply use the fire/burning fireball, or the actual flame dash of any sorts. So that way we can, potentially try to able to actually go ahead and go after, like, you know, the treasure itself, or hidden goodies. So, yeah, that should be a pleasant surprise. So, of course, we cannot carry more of those items from now on, though, because, you know, we completely filled up with everything. So, let's go ahead and get rid of my mini Kirby doll thing in the forms of the actual bubble itself. So, just in case we could potentially try to save some storage, but in forms of the next two treasures coming up ahead. So, if I did not able to get the treasure injury in time, that's okay, though, because we can just simply do a jump cut right there. Unlike any forms of, you know, I would say, but in forms of Kirby and the Amazing Mirror, though, because of how the fact that you're going to be doing a Metroidvania type of style of gameplay, as you already know. But even though that's saying much. So anyways, I think there's a good reason why we need to use fire in the first place, is because, well, if we go and melt the actual clouds with the forms of the fire ability, that's something I really do like, because again, the way you can deal with the actual environments themselves, you can basically do a lot of things with the actual environments themselves, which is very impressive to me. So, anyways though, let's go ahead and just go down here and do that. And we can just simply burn from... Oh god, that was really close. And hopefully we can... Oh, you kidding me? You kidding me? No! Oh... I think my storage is full up, so I think I might as well able to actually come back for that until later, because I can assuming that much like any forms of most of the actual collectibles throughout, you only have like one chance to able to actually get yourself some treasures, unless if you try the level again. So here we go with the Speemy once again, but this time around though that he snacks the bigger treasure chest, so that way we can actually get him back. So hopefully we're able to actually just get a job done here. So, but yeah, again, you have to be fast in this part though, just in case you won't able to miss things out for that point. Oh Christ. Okay, come on. Oh, direct hit. And I'll be about to be leaving, so ta-ta for now. Ha. No one can outrun me. But anyways though, we've only got 2 treasure chests though, so we're missing out just only 1 treasure chest because of my storage limitations. So, anyways though, we got ourselves another Kirby spray paint, and in addition to that, we also unlock ourselves a next key, which is able to unlock the extra level. So, I'll meet you guys back in the forms of the better attempt on the 3rd and final treasure chest. So, meet you guys back. Alright, I'm back into that point right there. So, thankfully though, I don't know if you noticed, but even then, as far as the actual bottom screen is concerned, well, thankfully though, I've got myself enough room to able to actually collect that last treasure chest. So, now we can simply just finish the main level right there again. But before we're able to actually just move on to the next level, that, as you can see, we actually come across into the gradient variations of the forms of the treasure chests themselves. Means that you've already collected one of those treasures. So, yeah, it's kind of like how it does in forms of Power Stars from Super Mario 64 and Super Mario Sunshine. Already collected Shine Sprites and all that stuff, and even Power Stars too. And even especially noticeable with Power Stars in the forms of, well, let's just say, you know, Super Mario Galaxy 1 and Super Mario Galaxy 2. and especially notable with the forms of the star medals in Super Mario 3D Land, and also the green stars in both Super Mario Galaxy 2 and Super Mario 3D World, and power moons from Super Mario Odyssey. So, anyways though, we got a new copy ability scroll, and that's the forms of something to do with like a height jump and stuff like that for that nature. But anyways though, let's go and move on to level 5 first before we get into the secret levels. So, anyways though, so the main gimmick about this level right there is the fact that this is what the spark ability comes into play. That we can simply just able to actually mess around with the thunder clouds while simply able to actually obtain the spark ability itself, which is really very cool. Which even then though, they can able to actually go completely invulnerable to anything. Well, the only few exceptions being the bottomless pits or the enemies themselves. So, yeah, I guess that's kind of cool if you ask me, so, yeah. Again, this level only retains one treasure chest though, which should be at the very end of the level. So even then though, that hopefully it's not too far from here though, so... In fact, yeah, I'm also able to get rid of my another one of those Kirby mini figurines right there because, well, I'm pretty okay and optimistic with the forms of just only 10 lives as it is. So, because of the fact that getting these extra lives can be extremely rare compared to the likes of Nightmare in Dreamland, and especially notable in Kirby and the Amazing Mirror. So, and by the way, with that treasure chest I've managed to obtain though, you have to be fast and before it drops because even though again, unless if you die in a level, then it should be okay with you because again, if you manage to enter in one of those doors, then we can just simply disable to actually just do another attempt at doing this. So, this particular copy ability scroll, I'm presuming this might be something to do with a tornado, which we'll get to that after the secret level's been accomplished. So even then though, that hopefully we'll do this level first, and then we can simply just able to wrap things up with the forms of World 3, and then we should able to actually continue from this point and onwards in during time. So, jeez, I can't believe we've almost at the halfway point of the forms of this game already, because even then, while most of these levels can get a little bit longer than that, but apart from that though, is that it's once again super short, just like any forms of how it does it in, you know, Kirby Nightmare in Dreamland, and especially noticeable with Kirby's Adventure for that small extent, or even especially noticeable with the forms of Kirby's Dreamland 2, and, while Kirby's Dreamland 3 was still is the longest of the bunch when it comes to the traditional Kirby style of gameplay and all that stuff, well, because of the actual, Heartstar collectibles you have to go after for, so... Anyways though, in this particular secret level right there, it's basically like a lap with maze, which even then though, so far it's not too bad as far as I've noticed something like that, other than being that I always get confused about this, because even then, because I keep on thinking to myself about the exploration, factor about this level, because I keep on, thinking I was playing Kirby and the Amazing Mirror, but the only exception being is the fact that there are, you know, just one Kirby in this adventure, whilst in the forms of the Amazing Mirror, it's just 4 Kirby's adventures. So, yeah, because, you know, how the fact that in Kirby and the Amazing Mirror, that the entire plot in that game is the fact that Dark Meta Knight was actually involved on that specific moment, that, you know, he sliced up to, you know, 4 different color variations of Kirby's themselves, which, even then, that's a quite pleasant surprise, though, for me. So, anyways, though, and I think it's a good reason why we go in here in the first place, because of this treasure chest here. And before you're able to actually obtain that treasure chest though, on the other hand, be sure to be able to do not even just try to destroy those crumbling platforms, because if you stand on one of those, then, and if that treasure chest managed to drop down significantly from here, then you're probably not gonna go after that. So, might as well get rid of those, 2 of those abilities just for the sake of, like, keep my storages, buddy forms of treasures themselves. So, yeah, because of that though, that you don't have to worry about just trying to able to actually just, well, for the most part though, trying to find them. Unlike any forms of how it does any forms of, Kirby and the Amazing Mirror, how the fact that, the game's map usually just only shows us the forms of the, square-based, map, but in forms of different areas and stuff of that nature. But even then, it doesn't really tell you what, although it does tell you how the fact that, when the areas is glowing, means you've actually obtained every single treasures in their specific rooms. But then, if it doesn't shine, then this means you're actually missing something out. So, yeah, that could be something for this matter though. So, there's a second treasure chest here, and right off the bat though, we got ourselves a third and final treasure chest right there. But again, we need to invade, or in this case, try to avoid spinning the entire time right there, as far as you guys already know about this. So, anyways though, let's try to set those switches up until we're able to create these spikes. Can either just manage to appear or pop up, or just simply just, you know, just outright run with them. So, yeah, it's nothing else to say about this level though, other than being just, you know, it's like a maze level, but even then, though, in a good way. Because even then, though, in the Kirby and the Amazing Mirror, it's so easy to get confused and lost in these places, especially with Peppermint's powers, as far as I've mentioned about this before. I presuming Joy mentioned about this, actually. Okay, we got another Kirby spray paint, another jigsaw piece, and the forms of Vitality Heart piece. Even then, though, that as we collect another one, then we could potentially try to extend our health bar significantly. So, anyways, though, let's go ahead and move on to the boss level in the forms of Cushy Cloud. So, I think there's a good reason why we need to use the tornado in this specific level alone, because we're actually going to be in towards into, as soon as we're able to actually get used to with this technique, then I think there's a prime example of how the fact that, oh, there's Tarouche. Wait, isn't that a different variation of Cracker of any sorts? Wait a minute, that can't be right there. So anyways folks, this is the forms of the next boss in this game, but in forms of Mecha Cracker, which is basically a somewhat of a mecha version of the forms of Cracker. In fact, the one who's behind all this is the forms of, well, Doc, because, well, he turns out is going to be the most brilliant scientific Squeak Squad out there, which even then, though, that could be something for that major. So, at first I thought this boss fight was going to be really difficult at first, but it turns out, well, the more I've played it, and even especially noticeable whenever I've seen it for the very first time, that it's not that too much of a big of a deal. But basically, this is what the tornado ability comes into play. Every time you actually just able to actually just to get into the actual air when you're performing a tornado technique, then you can able to change the maneuvering or the momentum with the forms of the tornado spin until you're able to get your momentum going to able to actually keep on hitting the mecha Cracker. So even then, though, that it's not too bad of a boss fight though, in my opinion. Sure, I know some people usually complain about the fact that he's trying to demolish these cloud platforms to able to, you know, demolish them. But apart from that though, not that bad of a boss fight though, in my opinion. So anyways, we got another boss badge. And we'll say this right now, we got the endings off here. So join me next time on Let's Play Kirby Mouse Attack / Kirby Squeak Squad for American version. We're going to be moving on to World 4, which might be something we're going to be exploring around in the jungle environments or the ruins environment. So yeah, see you guys next time. Later, fellas.